Cool. So we'll start lying down. So come onto your back. Have the knees bent, so your feet are on the floor with the feet about as wide as your mat is, or just wider than your torso. And then let the knees rest into each other. Having the hands out to the sides of the body. Just give your toes a little stretch out and your toes a bit of a wriggle. And then really root them into the floor. So you feel as much surface area of your feet connecting with the mat as you can. Try to just lightly press into the feet so your lower back draws towards the floor, creating some length through the spine. Just checking the shoulders feel kind of connected into your back rather than hunching around the ears, and there's some softness and space around your chest. Again, like we did with the toes, just give your hands a bit of a stretch and the fingers a bit of a wriggle. And then just let the hands soften to the ground. And then same with your face. So give your mouth a big stretch out wide. And then a scrunch up small. And then stretch out wide. And then soften it. Just let the whole face relax. Start to slow down and deepen the breath into the body. Bring a little bit more purpose to your inhale. So when you feel like you've got that full inhale in the body, see if you can just draw an extra little bit of air in. So you might feel a different space of the lungs or different space of the ribs that you can reach into with the breath. And then find that same feeling with the exhale as well. So when you feel like you've emptied the breath, see if you can squeeze out another little bit of exhalation. Noticing the core muscles have to kind of kick in, just squeeze those last drops of air away. So allowing your body to be this full instrument for your breath to move into. And then just ease a little bit of force away from the breath again, so it becomes slightly more natural, but with the intention of finding some space. On your next inhale, reach the hands up towards the ceiling. Just give the hands a roll around and a stretch out. And then flex the hands, so your palms face up to the ceiling with the fingertips facing the wall behind your head. So your hands are like you're holding a tray on your palms. Take a breath in, stretch the fingers open as wide as you can. And then as you exhale, flip the hands so the back of the hands are facing up to the ceiling and scrunch up your fingertips together. So keep the fingers long, like you're kind of pursing the lips like a beak with your hands. As you inhale, turn the palms back up to the ceiling again, stretch the palms out, fingertips are facing the wall behind you. As you exhale, flip the hands over, scrunch the fingertips towards each other. Keep that going with your breath. So inhale as they open. You might quite quickly feel a little bit of a burning of work through the forearms and wrists. Exhale, scrunches them back up. Take about 1 or 2 more. From there, bring the arms just to relax out to the sides in more of a cactus position. So elbows to the floor and the back of the hands dropping towards the ground. As always, you can take them a bit longer if that feels more comfortable for your shoulders. So try to root the fingernails into the ground. So you have some kind of actively pressing against the floor. Then turning your head from side to side, like you're trying to turn one ear to listen to the floor, and then turn the other ear to listen to the floor. Keep pressing down through the back of the hands and through the arms. So you might feel a gentle pull of stretch come through the chest or through the shoulder or through your neck. Next time your head is turning towards the left, hold it there. Separate the knees apart from each other and let both knees drop down to the right so they turn away from your gaze. Stack one knee on top of the other one or bring the legs around to a place they can kind of drop into the floor. Keep the back of the hands pressing into the ground. Take a big breath in with that full extra little bit of inhale. And that full exhale with the extra little bit of exhale. Gently bring the knees back to the center as you bring your head back center, so spine is straight. Turn the head towards your right arm, right hand, as the knees then drop down towards the left. Again, just stack the knees and tuck the right knee further round a little so they can stack. Take a really big full breath in. And a really full breath out. Gently bringing the knees and the head back in line again. From here, just bring the arms to reach a little bit further back behind you, so they're further towards the wall behind. If you can, hold on to your elbows or your forearms, so you just get an extra little bit of squeeze around the shoulder opening. Take the soles of your feet together and let the knees drop out to the sides. So tuck the heels fairly close towards your body and find a gentle rocking of the knees going side to side. So notice the lower spine arched slightly away from the ground. So you're kind of resting into the tailbone, your sacrum, just rocking side to side on that point. Try and let the legs feel really relaxed. So the weight of the legs is just creating a little bit of opening through the hips. Again, find those full breaths. So particularly as you exhale, think about the belly button pulling down to the spine, as though you're lifting the abdominals away from the legs, so pull them away. From here, keep the legs as they are, just steady any movement from them. Bring the arms around to the sides of your body, and then bring your palms onto your hips, where your hips meet your thighs. So bring the hands to the thighs, if that makes more sense. So then use your palms to press the legs away from you, as though you're trying to shift them further down to the end of the mat, and at the same time, like you're trying to press your head towards the top of the mat. So you just create a little bit of tractioning, creating space from the hips in towards the torso. So if you were made of plasticine, you'd be lengthening your body out nice and long. Again, find a really deep breath. So as you exhale, drawing the belly down, nice and broad through the ribs as you inhale. One more full breath. Release the hands away. You can use the hands under the legs if it helps to lift the knees back up to center again. Take the knees in towards your chest, so you can just rock side to side, just massage your back into the floor. From there, we're going to find that same Baddha Konasana pose again. So soles of the feet together, but this time the feet are floating away from the ground. Reach the hands between the legs to hold on to either your shins or the tops of your feet if you can reach to them. So interlace, if you can, the fingers around that little toe edge of the feet so that your feet can press into the arms. So you create that same feeling of lengthening the legs towards the far end of the mat, and the arms will stay long. So if you're holding onto the shins, you might not get that same feeling of pressing or tractioning, but just keeping the knees wide, soles of the feet together is all good. Having that sense of knees reaching out to the sides of your room. Keeping the shoulders drawing back. So if you want a pillow under the head or something, then please take that. Spine should feel really long and flat to the ground. If you close your eyes and just imagine you're in this posture seated. So create that nice, beautifully tall posture, open space through the hips. From here, we're going to open the legs up to happy baby. So keep hold of the shoelace bit of your feet if you have it, or the ankles is fine too. Turn the soles of the feet up to face the ceiling, keeping your elbows on the inside of the knees. I don't know if you can see that. So use the elbows to press the knees further open, and use the hands to try and draw the feet down. The soles of the feet should feel pretty parallel to the ceiling, as though again you're resting a tray on your feet for some reason. If you're holding on to, you want to be holding on to the little toe edge of the feet, elbows on the inside. Bring your thumb, if this makes sense to you, then take it. If it doesn't make sense to you, then don't worry about it. Your thumb comes to hook in between the big toe and second toe. So you create a little bit of gap between those toes and then keep pulling down. Draw the tailbone towards the floor, the shoulders coming back. If you're feeling pretty flat to the floor with your spine, then just gently rocking side to side might just bring a little bit of ease into the pose. Explore where you can bring a little bit more softness to it, a little bit more sweetness. Slowly bending the knees back again so the feet come back towards each other. Just gently take your time to give the hips a bit of moment to release. Feet come back to the floor. Have the hands just resting out to the sides of the body. Gonna inhale to reach your left heel towards the ceiling. So try not to hold on to it too much. There can be a bend into the knee. Just let the arms stay at the sides. Roll the ankle around a few times one way. As much movement through that sole of the foot as you can. Really reach through the toes. Roll it the other way, and as much movement as you can. And then keep the foot flexed so the heel is reaching towards the ceiling. Take a big breath in. As you exhale, send that heel away from you towards the end of the mat. So the leg stays as straight as you can keep it. Let it hover just a couple of inches away from the ground and use your supporting foot, your right foot, to press into the floor so your lower back draws towards the mat. Then slide that left leg back into where it was. Take that on the other side. So the right leg is going to reach up towards the ceiling, little bend in the knee so we can hold it there comfortably. Roll the foot around, making it as big and as exaggerated as you can with that rolling. Get the toes to spread open. Roll it the other way. And then flex the foot so the heel is reaching up, the toes curl back towards you. Take a big breath in. As you exhale, reach that heel forwards and away from you. Slowly with control. Keep it hovering just a couple of inches away from the mat. And then press into that supporting leg so your lower back and lower belly pull down. Slide the leg back into place. Take the left leg back up again. So we're going to do 4 kind of slow controlled kicks with this leg. So you're going to inhale with it up high. As you exhale, reach the heel forwards and down to that hover point as you pull the belly down. Inhale, lift the leg back up again. Exhale, slowly with control, reach the heel forwards and down, pulling abdominals down. Inhale, lift it up. Exhale to lower. Inhale, pick it up. Exhale to lower. Inhale, pick it up. Cross this leg over that supporting right one, like you're sitting cross-legged on a chair, so the inner thighs are crossed over each other. Let your legs then softly draw down towards the right. You can shift the hips over a little bit if you need to. You'll feel where that needs to move if it does. Just allowing the legs to soften over. If that feels too strong for your back, then unhook the legs and just take the same twist we did it earlier. So legs stacked. Take one more big breath in where you are. And then use the strength of your exhale to bring the knees back up to the center. Strong core. Unravel the legs. And then send your right leg up to the ceiling. The left foot is on the ground. So just those 4 controlled kicks with this leg. So take a breath in with the heel reaching up. As you exhale, send the heel forwards and down to hover above the ground. Inhale, lift the leg back up again. Exhale to go forwards and down, pulling the belly down. Inhale to lift up. Exhale to lower. Inhale to lift. Exhale to lower. Lifting the leg back up again. Hook the leg over your left thigh, like you're sitting cross-legged on a chair, and then let the leg soften down to the left. Same applies. If you need to just shimmy the hips over a little bit, then do. And if the twist of the legs feels too strong or too complicated, then unhook the legs. Just finding the twist anywhere is fine. Take a big breath in. And then use the strength of your exhale to bring the knees back up to the center and unravel the legs. Bring the, actually keep the feet hips distance apart where they are into the floor. We're going to come into a bridge pose, so just keep the arms relaxed to the sides. Spread the toes open into the floor and keep the toes rooting to the ground. Take a big breath in. As you exhale, roll the spine up towards the ceiling. Curl the tailbone up first, like that's leading the way for your spine, peeling one vertebrae off the ground at a time. When you get high and towards the shoulders, press through the shoulders so your chest space lifts up a little bit. And press through the feet so your head slides back towards the back of the mat, creating more length through the body. Have a sense of your kneecaps reaching forwards towards the end of the mat. Just checking they haven't opened out to the side. So keep those knees stacked above the ankles. Take a big breath in. As you exhale, tuck the tailbone, so reaching tailbone towards the fold of the knees. So your front of your hips feel really open. The glutes, the buttocks should feel pretty switched on. As you next inhale, reach the hands up towards the ceiling. Keeping them there, palms facing each other like you're holding a ball between your hands. Try to reach that ball up towards the ceiling as high as you can, so you feel the outer shoulders almost lift away from the mat. Take a really big breath in. As you exhale, slowly roll the spine to the ground, but keep the arms reaching up to ceiling, placing one vertebrae down at a time. So your tailbone is the last point to touch the ground. When you're rooted, keep the hands where they are. Take another big breath in. Exhale to roll the spine back up again to your bridge pose. Keep the knees reaching forwards, the hips lifting up. Tuck the tailbone, press through the feet. So in a second, we're going to lift one leg up off the floor. If it feels too much to keep the arms lifting up, then just let the elbows come to the ground so you have a little bit more support, like kind of stabilizes for your body, okay? So press through that left foot, bring the right heel away from the ground and reach the foot up towards the ceiling. It doesn't have to straighten, you can keep a bend in the knee if that feels more comfortable. So reach your fingertips if your arms are still floating, as though they're trying to grab hold of the toes. Keep pressing nice and strong through that left foot. Take a big breath in. As you exhale, replace that right foot to the ground. Keep the hips nice and high. Press down through the right foot, send the left foot up to the ceiling. Again, leg doesn't have to straighten. It's more about the transfer of weight. Reaching those fingertips towards your toes. Keep pressing through the right heel. Take a big breath in. Exhale to bend the knee, bring the foot to the floor. Stay where you are, take another big breath in. Exhale to roll the spine to the floor. Tailbone still last. Awesome. Bring the knees back in towards your body, hugging them in towards you. Take a gentle rock side to side. And then either roll yourself over to one side first or take a gentle rock through to seated and find any comfortable seated pose that works for you to stay upright. So just bring a bit of a neck stretch into it. So cross-legged if we can. Put yourself on a cushion or anything, as always, make yourself comfortable. Bring the hands just to the sides of your body. You're going to inhale, lift the shoulders up towards the ears as high as they'll come. And as you exhale, pull the shoulders back and roll them down. Good. Inhale again to lift the shoulders up. Exhale to pull the shoulders back and down. Once more, inhale to lift up. Exhale, roll them back and down. Let the fingertips just find the floor as far out to the side as you can. Keep the feeling of open space around your chest, like you're lifting proud. Step like a ballerina on the floor. Let your head drop down towards your left shoulder. And then reach the right hand further out to the side of you. Turn that palm up to face the ceiling. Stretch the fingers open as wide as you can with that right hand. And then imagine someone has hold of that wrist and is pulling the arm a little bit further away from your body. Stay nice and tall through the rest of the spine. And then just draw your thumb back behind you a little bit as your nose turns down towards the left shoulder, like you're trying to smell your shoulder. Again, imagine someone has hold of that wrist and is gently pulling the arm a little bit further away from the body. Let the head really hang heavy. If you need to just adjust yourself again until you kind of feel that peak of the stretch that you need to be in through the side of the neck, then just move yourself around until you feel into it. When you have it, take a really big breath in with an extra little sip in of air. And as you exhale, keep the stretch, but just sense a little bit of ease coming out of it. Lift that right hand up to the ceiling. Keep the head heavy. Come over into a side stretch. So let that right arm reach over towards the left. Use the hand on the floor to keep your right sit bone pressing down towards the floor or your cushion. And at the same time, try to keep both shoulders away from your ears. So plug the shoulders into your back a little. Head hanging heavy. Bring this right hand down towards your left knee that you're leaning towards. Use that to press yourself up straight and slide the left hand around behind your back. So it's resting to the floor behind you. As you inhale, press into the hand behind you to lift you tall as you can through the spine. As you exhale, pull into the left knee so you spiral the shoulders around to the side. Imagine your hips are trying to turn in the opposite direction to your shoulders. So you create that feeling of wringing out the body. Nice and tall through the spine. So your rib cage is just spiraling around the spine like telescoping around it. Grow taller from the crown of the head. Take a big breath in. As you exhale, pull the belly button towards the spine. Soften the shoulders down. And see if you can just nudge yourself deeper into that rotation. Stay where you are, take a big breath in. As you exhale, come back through to the center, releasing the arms out to the sides. If you have your legs crossed, cross them the other way. Good. Lifting up tall through the spine again, fingertips out to the side, and that ballerina pose on the floor. Let your head soften down towards the right shoulder. Left hand reaches out to the side of you. Palm facing up to the ceiling, then stretch those fingers open as wide as you can. Turning your head down to nose down towards the right shoulder, maybe just pass your thumb back behind you a little bit. Keep reaching out through that wrist. And then just take any other little nudges of adjustment into that until you feel that peak of the stretch. Good. When you've got that stretch through the sideline of the neck, take a full deep breath in. And using that exhale just to soothe into the space of it. Inhale to lift that left hand up to the ceiling. Bring it over into side stretch. So the arm reaches across towards the right. Then use that hand on the floor to keep the sit bones rooted into the ground. Feel the breath expanding space into the left side of the ribs, into the left obliques at the side of the body. Reaching those fingertips as far over to the side as you can. Slowly bringing that left hand down to your right knee and scoop the right hand around behind you. Take a big breath in, grow as tall as you can through the spine. Exhale to pull into that right knee so the shoulders spiral round. Again, create the feeling of your hips trying to turn in the opposite direction to your shoulders. You're wringing out the body. Soften the shoulders down. Take a really full breath in. A really full breath out. Belly pulls back to the spine. And then gently softening yourself back to face the front again. Good. Roll yourself over the feet or the knees to come into all fours, however feels best to get there. Spread the fingers open into the ground. Give your hands a bit of a stretch. So kind of paddle through the hands a little bit like you would in a downward dog on your feet. And then keeping the arms straight, trying to press into the floor so you feel the shoulder blades really broaden out as wide as you can. Then, keeping the arms straight, let the shoulder blades squeeze together so you feel the chest sink down towards the mat. Press to the ground again, open out the shoulder blades as broad as you can. Exhale to squeeze the shoulder blades together, let the chest sink. Once more, pressing open. And squeeze together. And then find that place in between the two, where your shoulders feel fairly held, but neither pressing or sinking. From there, slide your right leg back behind you and lift the toes away from the ground as your chest lifts up. So find a little back bend into it. As you exhale, bring the right knee underneath the body towards your nose. Press through the floor again, trying to open out the shoulder blades that we just did. Inhale, lift the toes back up, come into more of a back bend, squeeze the shoulder blades together. Exhale, round through the back, bring the knee towards your nose, pushing the ground away. Once more, inhale to lift and lengthen. Exhale to squeeze underneath. Take those toes to the back of the mat again, toes down to the floor. Turn out your left shin, so turn to face the right side of your mat with the right arm lifting to the ceiling. Make big circles with this arm, going down to the floor, round and up to the ceiling. Either direction is fine, just keep it rolling. Little bend into the elbow, if that feels a bit more comfortable with the shoulder. Change your direction, go round the other way. And then floating that arm all the way down to the floor, come back into all fours. Slide the left leg back behind you, reaching the chest up as you lift the heel, come into that back bend. As you exhale, bring the knee underneath towards your nose, pressing the floor away. Inhale to lift the heel and the chest. Exhale to squeeze underneath, pressing the floor away. Inhale to lift and lengthen. Exhale to squeeze under. Take the toes to the back of the mat again, legs stays long. Turn out the right shin so you face the left side of your mat, reaching the left hand up to the ceiling. Big circles with this arm, either direction, just loosening off through the shoulder, getting all that synovial fluid moving in your joints. Change the direction, rolling the other way. And then bring the hand to the floor, come back into all fours again. Tuck the toes underneath you, lift the hips up, let's go into a downward facing dog, keeping a bend into the knees. Spread the fingers open as wide as you can into the floor, and like you're pressing a really big heavy box away from you with your hands, try to shift into the ground so you'll feel your chest reach further back towards your legs. Send the tailbone higher up towards the ceiling. Then from there, begin to paddle the feet. So you build that stretch coming through the back of the legs. Moving slow through the feet. So your feet get a stretch out as well. And the front of the ankles get a bit of a stretch. Make sure you're still breathing fully, deeply, and slowly. From here, roll forward into your plank position. Keep that feeling of shoulder blades staying as open as you can as you travel forwards. Holding here in plank. Take a really big breath in. As you exhale, bring the knees to the floor. Keep the elbows tucking in towards you, but roll your body into the ground. Come down nice and slow. Take the hands further forwards and wide, so into a nice long cactus position. That's it. Press the tops of the feet into the floor. Try to scoop the belly button up away from the ground, so pressing pubic bone towards the mat. Then inhale, lift the scruff of the neck, like you're being led into your cobra from the back of the neck. Lengthen the arms, so elbows float. Keep the shoulders coming down, so the neck feels long. Keep pressing down through the feet and try to scoop the lower belly up, like you're trying to tuck the tailbone. Take a big breath in. As you exhale, have a sense of pulling forwards as you roll back to the floor. You're coming up again through that cobra. Lead from the scruff of the neck as you rise. Take a big breath in. Holding here in cobra, press down through pubic bone, try and pull up through the lowest part of your abdominals, like you're trying to straighten your spine. Just roll the head from one shoulder to the other, find a little bit of a neck stretch, just for a couple of breaths. Holding center, take a breath in. Exhale to draw forwards as you come back to the ground. Lovely. Bring the hands underneath your shoulders, hug the elbows in towards your ribs, take a big breath in. As you exhale, belly to spine, press up to all fours and come into a child's pose. Press through the hands so that you push your hips back towards the feet just for the first moment of it. And then straighten the arms out as long as they'll go, so you feel the stretch come around the back and the ribs. As you breathe fully and deeply, feel the breath expand wide into your ribs. Relaxing through the neck, the head as you exhale. Bring the hands towards your knees. You're going to come up into a higher kneeling position. So make sure the knees are fairly parallel. Lifting up the body, finding almost like a Mexican wave with your hands. You're going to take a big breath in as you reach up. As you exhale, fold back towards the floor. You don't have to come all the way to the ground. No headbutting the floor, please. Inhale, float back up again. Lift the arms above the head. Exhale to hinge back into child's pose with arms reaching back, so bowing down. Inhale as you rise. Exhale to fold. Inhale as you rise. Exhale to fold. Let's take one more round. Inhaling up. Exhale to fold. Come back up into that kneeling position again. Now, if you know this is more comfortable for your knees to stay upright, you can stay upright. If you can, tuck the toes underneath and sit back to the heels. If you want to cushion between your thighs and calf muscles to kind of just decompress the knees a little, then take that as an option too. So we're just going to stretch into the shoulders. Any legs is fine. Arms out in front of you. You're going to find eagle Garudasana arm. So your right arm is going to cross over the left one. Try to get the elbows to pass each other. So either holding onto the shoulders or bring the back of the hands towards each other and see if you can hook them again. If that feels too complicated, just hold on to the shoulders. So we just want to get the shoulder blades feeling broad. So focus into that space around the back of the heart. Reach your elbows forwards and then up towards the ceiling. Allow your head to soften forwards towards the forearms and try to bring your back up as straight as you can, so you're not leaning into it. Take a couple of deep breaths. If your feet are screaming at you, just give them a little bit of moment to lift up and back down, or come out of the toe tuck. On your next inhale, we're going to unravel the arms, come all the way back up into that, lift up high onto the knees, arms lifting. If you need to give your feet a little cheaty release, then do, and retuck them again. If you were sitting onto the heels, sit back down again, but just take that to the other side. So your left arm is going to reach forwards and cross over the right elbow. One arms above the boobs will help. Hold on to your shoulders or finding that wrapping of the hands if we can. Send the elbows forwards and up. Allow the head to soften forwards so there's no strain through the neck or the throat. Feeling it pretty intense through shoulders or through feet or through shins, deepen into your breath. See if the breath can help you first. And then if you need to move still, then allow yourself to move. On your next inhale, unravel the arms. Take a big sweep up to the ceiling. If you had the toes tucked, release them. Give yourself a mental high five. Bring the hands back to the floor into all fours. And just give the knees a bit of a stretch back. Press back into the heels. Tuck the toes, come back into your downward facing dog, lifting the hips up. Again, give the feet a moment to just paddle, stretching them out. And begin to walk your feet then up towards your hands, so you come into a forward fold at the top of the mat. You keep a nice heavy bend into the knees. Your body is just draping over the legs like that ragdoll feeling. You can hold on to the back of the legs or hold on to the arms, any place you want to have them. Try to focus on the releasing of your head and of your jaw. Like your head is just there dangling at the end of the spine to bring a bit of stretch into the spine. So we create a bit of space between the vertebrae into the discs of your back. I notice after a couple of breaths, if you can really let go of the weight of your head, sometimes it brings a little bit of a click somewhere in your back. So really allow the body to fall into it. A slow, heavy breaths. Allow the arms to dangle to the floor and take a big breath in. As you exhale, use you slowly up to standing, the tailbone down to the floor first, and then place each vertebrae on top of the next. Keep the chin to the chest until you come to stand. Roll the shoulders down your back, nice and tall through the posture from that nice proud stance. Make sure you are at the top of your mat, toes spread open into the floor. I'm just shimmy my mat back a little bit so I don't headbutt the cupboard. And then on your next inhale, then reach the arms up towards the ceiling, holding there. Interlace your fingers together. Keep the index fingers pointing up to the ceiling, like your Charlie's Angels hands. Keep the shoulders into your back, the tailbone down to the floor. Take a big breath in, wide into the ribcage. As you exhale, lean the body towards the right. Keep the belly button pulling the spine and the tailbone down, so we're not sitting into a squat or a back bend. As you inhale, lift the body back up to the center. Exhale, reaching over towards the left, pulling belly to spine, the tailbone stays down. Inhale, come back to the center. One more time either side, reaching over to the right. Inhale to the center. Exhale, reaching over to the left. Inhale to the center, release the hands, and exhale, finding a forward fold. Hands to shins, halfway lift as you inhale. Exhale, fold into the leg, step the right leg back behind you and place the knee down to the floor. As you inhale, lift the hands up towards the ceiling, going into a lunge. We're just going to hold here for a couple of breaths. So sink the hips forwards towards the front heel. Little bit of activation through that right buttock. So the glute is pressing some space open at the front of that right hip and keeping the tailbone down. So we're not loading weight into the spine. Soften the shoulders into it. Stretch the palms open. So hands feel pretty active and energized. Feel the breath move wide into your ribs. The exhales, pull the belly button to spine, finding more length through your spine. One more big breath in. As you exhale, bring the fingertips to the floor. We're coming into half monkeys. If you want something under your hand to bring the floor to you, then you can do. You're going to straighten the front leg. So if you want to wriggle your front toes forwards a little bit, that can often help. So then flex the front foot up. This leg does not have to be straight. There can still be a bend in the knee. Think about the hips or your tailbone drawing back behind you. So hands under the shoulders. Again, if you want something under the hands, that's fine too. So thinking about a cat-cow spine, it will feel fairly subtle. You're going to inhale to try to lift the tailbone up towards the ceiling and your chest reaching forwards. As you exhale, tuck the tailbone, rounding the forehead towards your shin. Inhale again, have a sense of tailbone trying to tip up. It will feel a really small movement. Exhale, rounding the other way, forehead towards your shin. Inhale, lift the tailbone, lift the chest. Exhale, rounding through, try and smell your knee. Good. Whichever side of that gives you the better stretch, take that just for another couple of breaths. The better stretch might be today, depending on how your hamstrings are feeling, maybe the softer side of it. So choose the best stretch for you. Then make sure you breathe fully, deeply, and allow the exhalation to bring a sense of release and of softness to wherever you're feeling it most. Lift the chest back forwards again. So again, if you have something under the hands, bring this with you. You're going to step your right hand towards the outer side of that front leg. So the hands are on the left side of your mat. Yeah. So let your shoulders twist round into the leg without your toes following you round. So keep those toes flexing up towards the ceiling. Again, that can be a micro bend in the knee if it's feeling a little bit too strong, but keep the toes facing up. Shoulders squeezing round. It will probably feel fairly horrendous. So try to soften any scrunching up of your face. Deepen into your breath. Take a breath in. As you exhale, bring the hands back center. Come back forwards into a lunge position. Take your time to transition. And slowly step back into your downward facing dog. So however feels best to get there. Take a paddle of the feet, stretch out the legs, wiggle the hips side to side. Notice any sensational differences between one leg and the other. Stretch the palms open into the floor, press the ground away from you, reach the tailbone high. Take a really big breath in. And a sigh through the mouth. Again, a really big breath in. And a sigh through the mouth. Slowly walk the feet towards your hands. And let the hands float up whenever they need to. Bring yourself into that forward fold with arms hanging on either to the back of the legs or around the arms or the back of the neck. Just a place that you can drape yourself over the legs. There might be a deep bend in the knees, there might be a little micro bend in the knees, or legs straight, wherever you want to be. Focus on the release of the weight of your head. So again, we use the weight of your skull to lengthen some space through the spine. So we finished the practice 3 inches taller than when we left. Bring the hands to your shins. Take a halfway lift as you inhale. Exhale to soften over the legs again and step the left leg back behind you, placing the knee down to the floor. So just finding this low crescent lunge. So you're going to lift the hands towards the ceiling. Palms are facing each other, but soften the shoulders down so you get that wrapping of the shoulder blades. Active slightly through the left glute so that you press the front of the left hip open as you sink the hips down towards the front heel. So finding softness through it where you can. Notice the neck staying soft. Stay active through the palms and the fingers. There's energy through the hands. Find that feeling of a really deep breath. So as you breathe, feel the ribcage expand wide into your back. As you exhale, draw the belly into the spine, the tailbone further down. One more big breath in. Exhale to bring the hands down to the floor. We're coming back into half monkey. So pad the hands up if you need to. We're straightening the front legs, and maybe just caterpillar the toes forwards a little bit to create a bit more lengthening, and then flex the toes towards the ceiling. Hands somewhere under the shoulders, kind of wherever they feel helpful to be. Again, there can be a little micro bend into the knee. Just work into where your hamstring kind of needs to stretch, where you need to go easy maybe. And then thinking that cat-cow spine again. So as you inhale, try to tip the tailbone up towards the ceiling and lift the chest forwards like you're trying to back bend. As you exhale, tuck the tailbone and round your forehead towards the shin. Inhale to lift the tailbone, lift the chest. Exhale to round the tailbone, round the head. Inhale to lift. And exhale to fold. Again, choosing on whichever side of that gives you the best feeling on this side. It might be different to the other side. Take another breath. Then we're going to step the left hand over the leg towards the right side of your mat. So the shoulders turn towards the right. Again, you can keep that little bend in the knee, keep the toes flexing up towards the ceiling. Again, it might feel fairly horrendous. You don't have to like this one. Good. Take another big breath in where you are. Exhale, slowly bring yourself back center and back into the lunge. However feels best to get there. Come back into your downward facing dog. Slide the foot back. Paddling through the feet for a couple of breaths. Again, just noticing any sensational differences in the legs. Activate the hands, push the floor away. Taking 2 big heavy breaths again. So deep breath in through your nose. And exhale to sigh through the mouth. Inhale through the nose. Exhaling through the mouth. Come back forwards into all fours. Bring the knees to the ground. Keep the thighs in a straight line. Walk your hands forwards, dropping into more of a puppy stretch. So bring the forehead down towards your mat or towards a cushion or block or anything. Try to keep the elbows lifted, but think armpits coming towards the ground. Those of you that are pretty open in the chest, try coming onto your fingertips so your wrists and elbows are lifted, and give the armpits a little bit further to drop. Your gaze can be forward to chin to the floor or forehead to the ground, whichever gives you more ease of space. Again, try to feel the breath moving really wide into the back of the ribs. Extending that stretch. Then pressing into the hands. Gently bring yourself back into all fours again. Slide the hands under the shoulders. Keep your shoulders a little wriggle side to side. Take the knees as open as your mat is and fold the hips back towards the feet, coming back into child's pose. Bringing the arms either out in front of you or create a little pillow for your head to rest onto, so the shoulders now relax a little. And really try to root the sit bones towards your feet, so the lower back is slightly lengthened or rounded. Take your arms out long if they aren't already and walk both hands over to the left of your mat. So hands are off the mat on the left. Place the right hand on top of the left one, your body almost over top of that left thigh. Interlace the top fingers into that left hand, and then use that clasp to pull your body away from, like you're really trying to sit down towards your right heel. Try just nudging your right armpit towards the floor slightly. It might just give you a deeper feeling of extension through that right side of the torso. Feel the breath expand wide into the ribs, particularly on that right side. And then taking your time, walk the hands across to the right side. The left fingers interlacing onto the right hand, using that clasp to pull away from, as though you're really trying to sit down towards that left heel. Big full breaths, extending the breath into that left side of the ribs. And gently bring yourself back to the center. Bring yourself into a kneeling position just for a moment. Grab hold of a block or a cushion or anything that you have will work. Bring your legs out in front of you. So while you're upright, actually, just bring your gaze to the camera for a moment. If you have a cushion, fold it in half so it feels, or kind of firm it up a little bit. It's going to go underneath your pelvis, okay? So we're going to come onto the floor. If you have a block, a yoga block, you're going to lie onto this longer, thinner edge of your block. You can see that. This is going to go underneath your pelvis, between your tailbone and your spine. You'll feel that kind of your sacrum, which will feel like a shelf to rest your weight onto. So come onto your back and just try and find, obviously if you have a cushion, it doesn't really matter. You want your blocks to be on that longer, thinner edge underneath the sacrum. So it's not resting into your spine, your back, it's more towards the buttocks. You'll feel that kind of, yeah, as I say, the shelf of your back to rest into. Should feel pretty comfortable to let your weight drop on. If it doesn't feel comfortable, then do this without your prop, it's fine. See if you can use your, so it's a bit easier if you have a block, something firmer, but use the block to guide a tucking of your tailbone. So as though you're trying to bring the lifted part of your spine towards the floor, you'll feel your tailbone curl up towards the ceiling a little bit, creating a bit more length there. Just holding where you are, take a big breath. Allow yourself to really drop into your prop. From here, bring your right knee in towards your chest. Just interlace the hands around the leg somewhere just to support it where it is. Then send your left leg away from you. Some days it feels good to keep it hovering, other times it feels good to let it rest down to the floor. So find wherever it feels kind of best to be. You basically want to create just a nice restorative opening through the front of your left hip. It doesn't really matter what you're lying onto or where you are exactly. So have a sense that you've just been draped over your block or your cushion, allowing the shoulders to soften down, the back of the neck to stay long and soft. Without any force to the breath, just acknowledge as you exhale, the belly pulls down. So again, you're just lengthening the tissue of the abdominals away from your hip, creating a little bit more space. Take a full round of breath where you are. And slowly, make sure you have one foot down on the floor at least at a time. Switch sides, however feels best to you. Rebalance yourself on the block a little if you need to. Bring the left knee in, hands around the legs somewhere. And then taking your time, send the right leg out. Again, maybe it feels good to stay hovering or let the heel just rest down to the floor. encouraging that left thigh towards the torso. Again, just draping yourself over, allowing the abdominals to draw away from that right leg. Take a full breath in, full breath out. Slowly bring both feet back to the floor again. And if it feels really good for your back, sometimes it feels pretty delicious for lower back. So if it feels good, you can just stay where you are for a few more minutes if you want to. When you're ready, press through the feet just to lighten the hips. Slide your cushion or your block away and roll your spine down to the floor. Let's bring the arms out to the side and then take a little moment to twist whenever you've come off your block. Just let the knees flop one side to the other, taking a few breaths on either side. Lengthen the legs away, out straight, and reach the arms back behind you so you find a full body stretch. You can take a really deep breath or a sigh or a yawn, have a little wriggle into it. And then just float the arms down to the sides of the body. Tuck the shoulder blades down your back a little so the shoulders splay open. Let the feet be wide, like you've just starfished yourself into the floor. Allow the weight of your legs just to flop into the ground. The weight of your pelvis to feel really heavy so that it allows your back and your spine to feel soft. Drop the weight of your shoulders into the floor so the arms and the hands relax. Allow your neck to relax and the hinge of your jaw just to soften. Soften any gripping away from the eyelids, the forehead. Allowing your entire body to be supported from the ground underneath you. Allowing the breath to move effortlessly and gently through the body. Just feeding it with that continuous nourishment of prana, your vital life force. While you're in stillness and that sense of grounding now, I'm going to invite you here to bring to mind one thing that you can feel grateful for today. Acknowledge one thing that you are really proud of yourself for. And recognize how getting to your yoga mat today has served you in some way. How do you feel? And just gather that into the body with a really deep breath in. And with a sense of smile, take a full exhale. Take your time to gather up your arms and your legs in towards your body, hugging them in towards you, and take a gentle rock side to side on your back. Rolling yourself to one side, and then use the hands to help you press to any comfortable seated place. Bring the hands to the heart center. Using your thumbs against the breastbone, your sternum, just to lift a little bit more height through the body. Take a deep breath in, breathing wide into the back of your ribs. As you exhale, bow your head to your hands. Thank you for joining me. Namaste. Well done, guys. Thank you. Have a lovely day. Just gonna meet you.
Thank you, Pippa.
Thank you, guys. See you soon.
Thanks, darling.
Bye.
Thank you.